News Panorama is a TV news magazine program that gives you the story behind the story.
It tells the stories the way they should be told by capturing the larger scale.
It deals with people's deep feelings on issues that, when brought to the fore, ultimately educates, informs, and entertains.
News Panorama. Capture the larger scale.
Thanks for joining us on News Panorama. What a week! National protests, even at the international scene. It has been stories of protests across the globe. Ghana, Kenya, Venezuela, all over bad governance. Then the UK crisis that seemingly be described as a far anti-immigration rights issues. Reaction on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's speech, Senator Akpabio's recent utterances, breastfeeding sensitization, Nigerian economy beyond palliatives, youth unemployment. Welcome and thanks for joining me on the program News Panorama. I am Josephine Efanga.
News Panorama. Capture the larger scale.
If you have just tuned in, you are watching News Panorama. Cross-Riverians and Nigerians at large have frowned over President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's speech on the ongoing end bad governance in Nigerian protests against the economic crisis in the country, saying President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has not addressed the issue at hand. Idonse said was on the streets of Calabar Metropolis to sample opinion. The reports.
The activities of the protesters, particularly in the northern parts of the country, have drawn the attention of government world over to the hardship and difficulties Nigerians are facing in their daily lives. In a broadcast nationwide to Nigerians, President Bola Tinubu spoke on issues such as economic, infrastructure, agriculture, oil and gas. Some Nigerians, however, feel the president did not address crucial issues such as fuel subsidy removal that is impacting negatively on the well-being of the people.
Yeah, he made a statement that indicates that fuel subsidy has come and gone. That will say there is no reversal, there is hardship. Not only hardship, there is no possessive power. Things are difficult. There's no money to buy things in the market. It is a call on the youth, on all meaningful Nigerians to stand by their grounds and make sure any policy that is not of their betterment is reversed.
They turned down requests for the dialogue by the president, stating that the protests will continue as the demands have not been met.
No food, no light, no fuel. Look at that. From 8 miles to here, I'm trekking down to University of Calabar. Where will I get the money? Is that how it's supposed to be? That is, you think about how the president goes far back, 1960, 1970. They didn't think about how other presidents have been covering this Nigeria. It wasn't like this.
We are suffering. We should be prayerful for God to have mercy and to change their mind. Because it is only God, the God that enters Pharaoh's hearts. It is that same God that will enter his hearts.
Some Nigerians, however, appeal for patience with the president to solve the challenges in the country.
As a president of Nigeria, whatever he say, he has to stand. Yeah? If he say he don't need protests, he should calm down and wait for him and hear what he can say.
Many are watching as the week begins if the government and the protesters will find a common ground and have the demands of the protesters addressed, or what will transpire after the protests come to an end on August 10.
The adage to whom much is given, much is expected holds sway in leadership positions. Maybe it is for reasons that some Nigerians have picked on the Senate president on the recent utterances. Glory Okeke was on the streets of Calabar Metropolis to sample opinions. The report.
In the build-up to the End Bad Governance protest, the Senate President, Senator Akpabio, while addressing the Niger Delta Light, made some comments that Nigerians found insensitive and looking of concern towards the plight of Nigerian protesters. His comments highlight a disconnection between the political elite and the everyday challenges faced by the people and calls for accountability. The citizens' reaction to the Senate President's statement varied, with some expressing outrage and others humor.
The 9 states of Niger Delta region have resolved collectively that they will not be part of this so-called proposed anarchy that people call protest. So here we are. We will go about our normal businesses, but we should not take it for granted that some who live amongst us will not try to use the situation to foment trouble, to loot people's shops.
The Senate President lately has been trolling some speeches which has been attracting public comment and criticism. Also, the Senator Natasha Akpabio representing Kogi Central Senatorial District, as well the comments on the protest. For some, the statement can be viewed as a joke, but uncaved during a period like this.
I think Senator Akpabio is a very funny man. Possibly, he said that as part of his lifestyle, because I know I followed him to some extent while he was the governor of the state, of Akpabio State. He used to throw jabs on people. Possibly that is one of the reasons he says so. Possibly out of unconscious statement. Otherwise, such statement was not supposed to be made from number 3 citizen of the state.
Why would you say they should go out and protest while you stay in your house? It's not nice for you.
The Senate President shouldn't have made that speech at the first place as the custodian of the law. Supposed to maybe look for solution on how to help the masses to resolve the issue going on in the country.
Some perseverance urged their opinions and frustration concerning the Senate President's statement, calling it improper and advising that he handles his post with maturity as it is a sensitive office. The desire of many that leaders be more in tune with the citizens and the reality of the people we serve. For CRBC News Panorama, Glory Okeke reporting.
The poor economic situation is not only a Nigerian problem. Globally, there's been agitation ostensibly on government policies. Daniel Tidera brings clips on agitations, the report.
Some countries of the world are undergoing protests on issues that have affected them in all ramifications. These countries include Ghana, Venezuela, Kenya, Uganda, UK, and also Nigeria. In UK, the citizens are undergoing a protest concerning anti-immigration issues. The UK is encountering the worst disorder it has faced in more than a decade. After outbreaks of far-right, the anti-immigrant violence swept the country. The riot broke out July after a misinformation campaign from the anti-immigrant sparked outrage over a stabbing attack that left 3 children dead in Southport, northern England. The crowds of far-right agitators set the hotels housing asylum seekers in 2 cities on fire, leaving those inside trapped and terrified, while throngs of rioters in other cities damaged public buildings, clashing with police.
Invest in our communities, and that goes up and down the country. Here in Hackney, we need to make sure that we're investing things like our libraries.
Save our kids!
With the wave of protests sweeping over various African countries in recent weeks, Ghana, Venezuela, Kenya, and Nigeria has had their fair share. In Ghana, a 7-day protest dubbed the Gen Z Demo was billed for July 31st to August 6th at the Black Star Square. The protest organizers said 2 million people would march to demand more action from the nation's president on corruption and living conditions, among other issues. The police had warned against the protests, stating that the planned demonstration could compromise public order. In a ruling on Tuesday, the 6th of August 2024, a High Court judge approved police requests to ban a handful of organizations from carrying out protests. Meanwhile, in Kenya, young people engaged in 6 weeks of demonstrations over an unpopular bill that sought to raise taxes. The protests, which soon turned violent, saw at least 50 killed and dozens abducted. Following this, the president of Kenya retracted the bill and announced a shakeup of his cabinet due to pressure from demonstrators who remained on the streets despite appeals. The Venezuelan protests broke out in the aftermath of the 2024 presidential election on the 28th of July in response to irregularities and claims of electoral fraud taken to the streets after the announcement of the electoral results. In Ugandan capital, Kampala, dozens of people have been detained after joining scattered anti-corruption protests. The protest, which was partly inspired by demonstrations in neighboring Kenya, had young people crying out for an end to corruption in government as well as legislative offices, despite an official ban against the protests. With over 10 protests recorded globally among nations worldwide, the causes and motivations for this protest all boils down to bad governance or lack of understanding and effective communication between the government and its citizenry. The lingering question is, what can the government at all levels worldwide do to ease the unrest and bring global peace? For CRBC News Panorama, I am Daniel Chidera.
As the country with the fastest growing economy in Africa, Nigeria has a lot of potential for national growth, decrease in poverty and unemployment levels, alongside a corresponding increase in private sector enterprises and decrease in the GDP. But in order to drive this forward, a serious long-term strategy needs to be set in place and governments need to follow through, working in line with this strategy across sectors of the Nigerian economy, with a focus on undeveloped sectors of the economy. Magdalene Eden in this report expressed the need for a long-term economic strategy beyond palliatives. The report.
Between the year 2000 and 2014, Nigeria's economy experienced broad-based and sustained growth of over 7%. However, the growth rate decreased between 2015 and 2022, and gross domestic product (GDP) per capita flattened. According to experts, the monetary and exchange rate policy distortion coupled with increasing fiscal deficit is as a result of lower oil production and costly fuel subsidy program. Weakened economic fundamentals led the country's inflation to reach a 24-year high of 31.7% in February 2024, which in combination with poor productivity has pushed millions of Nigerians into poverty.
Following a change in administration in May 2023, the country has been pursuing bold reforms to re-establish macroeconomic conditions for stability and growth.
The petrol fiscal subsidy was partially eliminated, and foreign exchange reforms have led to the unification of foreign exchange markets and to a market-reflective exchange rate. To alleviate the inflationary effect of these reforms on the most vulnerable, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu introduced more palliative initiatives to cushion the effect of removal of fuel subsidy, which has resulted to great hardship in Nigeria.
We are also monitoring the effect of exchange rate and inflation on gasoline prices. If and when necessary, we will intervene. I assure you, my fellow countrymen and women, that we are exiting the darkness to enter a new and glorious dawn.
While the palliative provides temporary relief, many people argue that it does not address the underlying structural issues driving Nigeria's economic challenges. The country's over-reliance on oil exports, inadequate infrastructure, and the lack of economic diversification have created a perfect storm of economic instability.
The palliative arrived here ever since, but why? This is when they organized protests that they decided to start sharing. And even when they started sharing, they were doing it as if it was like they were campaigning for PDP, because they carried to various localities and shared as if PDP is coming to like their side. So Meanwhile, it was given by the president to share, not for a particular party. So it's usual just to about
when issues like this come up, there is a lot of vandalization and destruction of government properties. Because when you hear that so billions of nairas have been released to state government, so trucks of bags of rice have been reduced to state government, and at the end of the day, you go to the street, ask the common man in the street, have you gotten anything? Have you gotten rice, or have you gotten any palliative from government? Reasonable number of persons will tell you, I've gotten nothing. So those things will ignite problems. An hungry man is an angry man.
Since everybody voted him inside, him giving that thing to individual to come and share for a crowd of people, and those people now are ending up selling it to the crowd that voted him, is very bad. He would have least at him, when you have your PVC, you come out, take with your PVC.
I have not collected even 1 kobo to that effect. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm dying of hunger. It's improper of this country.
Some respondents expressed their grievances over the quantity of palliative received and on the manner in which the palliative are distributed, stating that the inability of all accessing the palliative undermines its essence. The big question is, what is the long-term economic strategy beyond palliatives? Mr. Jacob Ode, a director in civil service, a technocrat, and a graduate of economy and planning, says that the root causes of Nigerian economic challenges need to be first dealt with.
It's not even encouraging because it is just a temporary solution to a great problem. So we need to develop the economy beyond palliatives. One of the areas we should go into is to strengthen the value of the currency of the nation, to ensure that the currency, our naira, can compete in international market favorably. We need to ensure that those facilities that encourage young people to be in a place are carried to rural areas, even in cities.
While the debate rages on, Nigeria needs a bold and sustainable economic strategy to break the circle of poverty and underdevelopment.
In face of all the economic challenges, is the government willing to hit the call and take the necessary steps to build a prosperous future for all Nigerians, also in Cross River State? For CRBC News Panorama, Magdalene Edem reporting.
Unemployment and rising inflation are some of the major problems currently being faced in the 21st century, and the Nigerian government is not exception. The issue of unemployment is one of the microeconomic problems of a nation. Beatrice Abang in this report takes a look at the former President Olusegun Obasanjo's recent outburst on the youth unemployment rate in Nigeria. The report.
Unemployment has become one of the high-ranking problems of youth in Nigeria. It was said that this is one of the key factors that instigated and moved the Nigerian youth to embark on the ongoing protest, using it as a sensitive and captivating moment to drive out their point. A statement credited to former President of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, on the 6th of August, quotes him as saying, "The Nigerian youths are restive because they have no skill and are not employed." He warned that the youths are sitting on a keg of gunpowder, hence the need for a quick intervention. In an interaction with some cross-variant youths, they poured out their hearts concerning the high rates of unemployment in the state.
Feel that whatever is being given is allocated to the state government, because there's an allocation that goes to the state government. So I feel like our own governor of this state is actually doing well, for real. The government of the state is actually doing what it's supposed to do. Yeah. So whatever is going on, our state government is supposed to be held responsible.
They also expressed their pain concerning lack of revenues and productive companies around the state to keep the youth busy.
Out of a rate of 100%, I'm sure it's not up to 80% that are working. Even schools now, out of 100%, 20% are not working. As if they are just, let me say, just doing everything again. Going to school, going to class, again. Because if you go and come back, there's no work for us to do. You see someone with first class driving keke. So if at all the government will create some companies, look, it's not even up to, I'm not sure what about State have up to 50 companies. Some of them, even the companies will come tax will not allow them to live.
and go to Akpabio, go to other people that they have less tax to pay. If the government should do anything, at least they should pick something that we can at least work and have money.
While some citizens expressed their gratitude towards government efforts in reducing the level of unemployment rate in the state, they complained that the government's effort towards reducing the rate of unemployment in the state has not been encouraging so far, pleading that the government should do more for its youth.
By God's grace, we believe, since he is our son, he will do something good for the youth. Because the youth is the nation. When you build the youth, you build the nation. To give them at least a job so that they will not misbehave.
The issue of unemployment in the country and indeed the state has raised countless issues among the youths, pushing them to vices that will be of negative consequences to the society. It is advised that the continuous engagement of the youths in skills acquisition and beneficial activities should be promoted. For CRBC News Panorama, Beatrice Abang reporting.
In commemoration of World Breastfeeding Week, breastfeeding mothers and pregnant women in Calabar came together to be enlightened on the importance and the right techniques to breastfeeding for their overall well-being and their children or babies. Blessing Basi tells us more, the report.
The state government has reaffirmed that breastfeeding should be exclusive for the first 6 months and also announced a maternity leave policy for nursing mothers. The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Henry Ayuk, said the initiative aims to promote the importance of proper breastfeeding techniques and provide support for new mothers.
We have a governor that is interested in ensuring that these children don't remain small for age. You know what is small for age? That is, if you are a child, you never get the body weight you're supposed to have for that particular age. And some people can call them something, some call them anything, but for me and you, the English way is always say, hey, my child never get the body weight for feeder for this age. The government don't come. You don't change that policy, don't change that situation.
According to some consultants, many mothers lack knowledge on the correct method of breastfeeding, which can lead to challenges in feeding their babies.
Make sure that the baby's tummy is on your own tummy, and you don't smoke cigarettes. You just use your hand and support your breast, and then ensure that the baby's mouth, the complete mouth of your baby, is completely on the areola, not your nipple. That black part of your breast, the baby's mouth covers it very well. Because if the baby is only on the nipple, then it's going to cause you sore.
To address this, the state government initiative includes educating mothers on the proper techniques and benefits of breastfeeding. Breastfeeding mothers have expressed their gratitude to the state government for the initiative, stating that the knowledge gained will be beneficial for future reference. They also shared their challenges with exclusive breastfeeding, highlighting the need for continued support and education.
We are here to receive some gifts for our babies, and we have collected enough lectures. So I want to say the organization, they are really trying. If they continue like this, there is no mother out there that will not be happy.
I'm so happy. And exclusive breastfeeding is very good for baby, and it's good for a mother to breastfeed their baby with exclusive breastfeeding.
I've learned so many things, how to breastfeed our baby, give exclusive the first 6 months of breast milk, how it's nutritious on our babies, and she has done very well. I appreciate her.
The state government's effort to promote breastfeeding and provide support for nursing mothers has been commended by emphasizing the importance of proper breastfeeding technique and providing some resources to ensure the health and well-being of both mothers and babies. For CRBC News Panorama, Blessing Basi reporting.
That is all we have on our lineup this week. We hope to be back same time next week. Do keep a date with us. I am Josephine Efanga.